Welcome back to Jump Scare. I'm Betty.
And I'm Shad.
This week we cover Antrum, the deadliest movie ever made.
This is the forest where the devil landed when he was cast out of heaven. And at that spot, we'll find the entrance to hell. The Antrum. The deeper we dig, the more the forest around us becomes darker. And with each layer that we pass, deeper in hell we'll be.
Antrum, the most boring movie ever made.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. I don't know. I was expecting a little more from this, but it was just... If you told me this was someone's student film, I would think, all right, that's fine. For a student film, this is probably pretty entertaining. But I don't think it was a student film.
It was like a whole lot of film, but like nothing. It was like I came to a buffet, but everything was invisible.
Yeah, well, for people who don't know, this is...
it's the scariest, most deadliest movie ever made.
Every time. Anyhow. So the movie starts off with a little bit of like a mockumentary explaining the backstory of the film. And I gotta say, I would have preferred the movie if it had been like that. I think it would have been a little bit more effective if the whole thing had been just a mockumentary about going around talking to the people, you know, getting like first-hand accounts of people who had seen the movie, and maybe just show some little clips of it here and there. But they start off, they show like the mockumentary saying, hey, this movie was only shown once in 1979. The theater burned down. Then it was shown again briefly in, 83 in San Francisco, and there was someone put acid in the butter, so it caused everyone to go crazy, the popcorn butter, and it caused everyone to go crazy and freak out and
trample people to death. It was like the 90s and the dancing Elmo had come out.
Yeah.
People got trampled.
So I would have liked it if it had been like that, because when they were just telling the backstory of it, it was pretty creepy. But then they go, okay, and now we're going to show you the entirety of Antrum. They come up with a little disclaimer on the screen, like, it's counting down to the movie, 30 seconds. Then you see the movie, and it's like, for an hour and, 20 minutes?
For way too long.
So the plot of the actual movie is, it starts off with a brother and sister and a mom at the vet's, and they're having to have their dog put down. The little boy on the way home asks the mom, hey, is Maxine in heaven now? And the mom, being mom of the year, says, no, Maxine was a bad dog and she's in hell now. So then the sister and the brother go to the middle of the woods and decide to dig a hole to hell and bring the dog back out. Like, normal teenage hijinks.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Like, I don't know why she thought it was going to help her brother. Later on in the movie, kind of like throughout the movie, you see that the little boy is having nightmares. So she does mention towards the end of the movie that she had conjured all this up because he was having nightmares, and for some reason that was her first go-to. I don't know. Maybe she did some of that LSD, like...
Yeah, I don't know, because you basically, spoilers, you find out that, like, she faked all this. There was no, like, book telling her that there was going to be a gateway to hell out there. And they kind of Scooby-Doo it at some point, and all the creepy things that you have heard that have been going on, like the boy was saying, oh, we can see Cerberus. Cerberus is coming after us. Cerberus is just a husky dog that got caught in a trap. And
she had just finished reading Harry Potter, and she was like, you know what? I'm going to have this in there.
She must have been. And then they go out into the woods. They start digging towards hell. They find some random things buried in the ground, a gun, bottle of pills. At one point, an Asian guy is just out in the woods about to kill himself. They yell at him and are like, hey, don't kill yourself. He yells back at him something in Japanese and then just bows and says, I'm so sorry. And just leaves. Like, you do. I'm getting that this was supposed to be some kind of suicide forest because there was a plaque up at the entrance to the forest saying, like, don't kill yourself. You matter to people. You matter to God. And then after they've dug into hell for a little while, they decide to go for a walk.
Because, all the digging, you gotta go walk. Well, that part, not to go back too far, but that part with the forest, I was like, okay, so they decided to have what we would assume a United States twin of that forest in Japan. I'm going to totally kill the mispronunciation of this. The Okigahara forest. Okigahara?
Yeah, the one we saw that movie with Natalie Dormer about the whole thing.
That also was a very terrible movie. Yes, but that forest where the people go and kill themselves because out of all the races you chose for a person to come and kill themselves, you chose an Asian person because I don't know if they were Japanese.
Well, the subtitles said yelling in Japanese.
Oh, in Japanese. Oh, shit, it did.
So, he's definitely a Japanese guy.
Then I'm like, is it set in this forest? Like, the film doesn't really... A lot of things happen in the movie, but right up front in the interviews, they tell you, because there's like the mockumentary style, like we said, interviews with other like indie film programmers and like other people,
festival producers, and that
festival
kind of
producers, people like beforehand, and they're like giving their little insights and they're kind of telling the story about like the history of the film. And that part, one of the guys literally says, this movie's not going to make you scared. Like, you're not going to jump out of your seat scared. It's more of an uncomfortable feeling. So they do a lot in the movie where they like kind of verbally set you up for its failure, I would think, in a sense, or for like, don't expect this because that's not going to happen. It's going to be this other thing that you're going to be like it's very underwhelming.
Yeah, they kind of, like the people they're talking to in the mockumentary kind of undersell it, They kind of play it down like, well, you're not going to be scared by this. Oh, well, okay. Now that you've told me that, I guess I won't even think it's going to be scary.
They also, I feel like, even in its title, they're going out of their way to have people watch this movie, like, because you're literally you stated it's the deadliest movie ever seen. So you're like in a psychological, oh shit, I gotta see this. Like, what deadliest movie ever seen? Like, I gotta fucking see this movie. Ever made. I'm sorry, deadliest movie ever made. It is the deadliest movie I've ever seen because my eyes are filled with blood because it was so terrible.
Deadly boring, yeah. This is one of those movies where there's really only like, in the actual Antrum movie, there's only like 5 people in the whole thing, and the brother and sister, they dig a lot. And you can see pretty early on that the sister is manipulating the brother because she starts telling him about Cerberus. And it's like, Cerberus can smell foul breath and foul odors because the kid wasn't wanting to brush his teeth.
And 5 seconds earlier, she was like, go brush your teeth, it stinks. So she's not even trying to like subconsciously do anything.
She just went out and did it, and then the kid was like, oh, I should probably go brush my teeth.
Yeah, and he's a kid, so he's not gonna see like, bitch, like, you trying to pull the wool over my eyes. You just made this story up in like 5 seconds. Yeah, even though she did have a drawing of it, but that she had pretended to make that like devil book that she inherited from Ike or whatever.
Which the book looks exactly like one of those journals with a pentagram on it you can buy at Barnes and Noble. I mean, exactly like it.
Retail value $37.95.
Yeah. So while they're digging their hole to hell, they, like I said, they find a gun, some pills. They see some creepy things. There's like, people looking at them from the bushes. It might be demons. They look like, all you can see is black shapes with eyes. And eventually they get a little creeped out, so they decide to take a walk away from their excavation to hell. And they just roam into an area where these two rednecks are building a giant statue of Baphomet. And it's like a stove, one of those kind of like brass bull things they used to do back in the Middle Ages where they'd put people in it and cook them.
Yeah, it's a Baphomet, like, wicker man.
Yeah. And apparently they've caught the Japanese guy, and they're cooking him in the fire. And the best part is when they walk up on these rednecks, one of them is having sex with a deer corpse.
Now, you're calling them rednecks, but they were Russian rednecks.
I don't know what they were. Hillbilly perverts?
Yes. It doesn't mean they could still... I mean, Russia has like rednecks, right?
I don't know what the Russian equivalent of redneck is, but
they're already red, right? So it's like
there
just
you go.
Russian. So these Russians are or just out of the weird.
And this is the thing: where are we? Are we in America? Are we in Russia?
Why
are we
in the forest that you're thinking it's like a a reserve like kind of thing? Do you think that? Why is there like a junkyard with like Russians and like cars? Like literally right down the road in the fucking forest. It was very strange.
And just me personally here, if I peek around a corner and I see a bunch of rednecks, Russians, whatever you want to, Russian rednecks, whatever, and they're having sex with a deer corpse and they're cooking a guy in a big Baphomet statue, I am the fuck out of there. I don't need to talk to them. I don't need to wait around and see, maybe they're good people after all. No. They're not. Get the fuck out of Dodge. Now. But they just, they leave. They go back to their tent. Rest, relax. They get a little scared in the night. Wake up. Who's there? Oh, the rednecks. So what do? Do you run? No. If you're the 9-year-old boy that's just seen all this, you go down and you point a stick at them.
Well, they did try to leave. I mean, they did, but it was... Literally got on a boat, and there was like this whole terrible scene where the boy's there, and then he's not there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he fell over the edge of the boat and did the typical disappearing under the murky water thing where you can't see him anymore.
And why is she like? This is my question to Shop while I'm watching this, because you've seen this in other movies. Why are you calling out the person's name above water? They can't hear you. They're underwater drowning. They're not going to be like, I'm drowning, and then all of a sudden, hey, Betty, and I'm going to pop up, hey, right here, I'm just right here.
I'm just a little bit to the left of the boat. You just need to dive a little further down and go to the left, please. I'll be right there.
Yeah, so when they come back, they literally circled around the fucking camp, and they ended back up at their tent, and then they like slept the night in the fucking tree because the Cerebus was after them.
Yeah, and... So then the rednecks, which they've obviously done this kind of thing before because they brought a tranquilizer rifle with them. They tranquilize them, take them back, put them in a cage, and then, they take the boy out and start cooking him. The girl, the sister, manages to get out of the cage. She grabs the gun, shoots one redneck, who jumps in a truck. The other one grabs a shovel and comes at her. After shooting at him like 3 times at point blank range, she manages to hit him. They hop in their like 57 Ford that they've got laying around there. It looks like the fucking Jeepers Creepers car is parked on the lot too. And they try to drive off, but they just crashed their car because they've both been shot in the chest or stomach by this chick. And the brother, who she finally gets out of the cook stove, he's like covered in soot. It looks like someone made him up in blackface. It's really weird. I mean, he's just covered, his whole face and hands are covered in soot to the point that he looks, like I said, like someone has done an old-fashioned minstrel show blackface thing on him. He hauls ass running. We don't see the sister again for some time. The boy runs through the woods, and then you start seeing little black-faced demons or devils, something with horns, looking at him in the trees, like laughing, pointing. The boy runs around the corner, stops, looks straight up into the trees, smiles, and then it says, "The end." But, spoiler alert, that's not the end.
The movie continues for like another, I don't know, 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah. It says the end. It does like a couple of quick flashes of like a montage type thing. Like you think they're going to play credits over it. But no, then it just goes back and, oh, here comes the sister. Now we get to see what happened to her. She comes running through. She's also seeing all these little devils and demons.
Who's filming this film? That's the other part that I was just like, okay, well, who is filming the film? Because at no point in the movie is the brother, nor the sister, nor the Red Knight Russians, nor the dead deer that just got ass fucked. None of those have a camera on them. So,
well, see, that's the thing.
Is the demon?
The movie itself is not a found footage movie.
But you know what's crazy? Because what I had said before, in the beginning of the movie, one of the people do say it's like the devil filmed himself. So they kind of like, now that I'm thinking about it, they kind of set you up to all these things throughout the movie to prepare you and kind of like cover some of the plot holes. Never mind what happened to the mom, because we kind of like, they had a mom, they didn't have a mom. She was driving and she wasn't driving. So.
Literally, she vanished from the car.
And no, we never talked
no explanation. No one talked about that.
She's just a bitch that said my fucking dog was going to hell, and I just fucking had her vanish.
Yeah.
And then the little boy meets Ike. Like, the sister tells the fucking kid that this was all fake, and they talk about Ike because Ike is the one and gave her. She told the brother Ike gave her the fucking book, and she's like, Ike is not real. I made him up. And he's like, he is real. I met him in the back of the diner. And then there's like
a weird black and white set piece where you see like a little like completely black hand, looks like it's burned, stick out from behind the dumpster, and it's like, oh, come over here, I wish to speak to you, small child.
If that actually would have happened in the movie, like if it physically would have said that, that would have been probably the best part of the fucking movie. But no, it's just mine. And then like it said, I'm standing in front of the sun, so I'm a shadow, and I have dreads, because now demons have dreads, I guess. I don't know. And
a lot of shit that just doesn't make sense in this movie.
And it was like, it's trying to be artsy, because first you have like the 70s like filter over it, and then
it's literally the 70s Instagram filter over the whole thing.
It's playing like
burnt orange.
It's playing like weird music, like
that, like
chanting,
kind of like
oh god. And then like in the like towards the end of the quote unquote the real end, where they go back and they talk to some more, because it's just like, is this a mockumentary or is this a found footage movie? Because you kind of combine both of them and sandwiched a found footage that wasn't found footage into a mockumentary.
And during the whole movie, you've got these random things where like every now and then like little sigils appear on the screen, like they've been drawn on
170 times.
Yeah, randomly, and there's words that pop written onto the screen, which I'm not playing their fucking game. I'm not pausing the movie to try and read what those words are. I don't give a shit.
It could say, I'm gonna take a shit right now.
That's probably what it did say, because and then there's like a random like a 30-second black and white scene where just someone in devil makeup comes on and is just like wiggling their fingers at the camera. It's like, ooh, spooky. No, it's just annoying. If it had been like a 1-second blip, I would have been like, okay, they're trying to like, get the feeling of like a subliminal message. But this wasn't subliminal. The Simpsons episode where they said there's subliminal, liminal, and superliminal. Superliminal was where he just stung his head out the window and went, hey, you, join the Navy. And he went, all right. That's what this was like. It was that subtle.
Oh, man. So I give it one knife.
Oh, and we missed the best part, where randomly it cuts to a man and a woman naked, tied together with duct tape.
In a bathroom. It looks like a bathroom.
It looks like the fucking Saw bathroom. The Saw bathroom is what it looks like.
A park bathroom.
And then they
Shower,
take a bite of an apple, drop it on the ground, and then they die, and the devil comes through.
And he's wiggling his finger, and it's like, okay. And it was like that French artsy style. Like I wanted to make a French film, but I didn't. Maybe, well, they are Canadian, but it is a Canadian movie. So.
Well, here's the thing. This is what it's like if you told someone, I want you to make fun of those French artsy movies where they cut to black and white footage and that kind of stuff. This is what I want you to do. I want you to do the scene. It's going to be like, oh, my name is Prometheus. And then you show a guy like dancing through like a field of flowers. Then the next scene he's hanging. You're like, oh, the death of Prometheus. Like that kind of bullshit. Like someone is just like, what the fuck are you doing? That's the kind of thing. It's like, it really is like they're trying to parody it, but it's a serious parody. It made no sense. They could have had a good movie in this if they had just stuck with the mockumentary style. They could have talked about the filmmakers. They could have tried to interview them. They could have interviewed people around them. And then just cut to little clips of the movie. Show like, in this scene, we see the kids digging the gate to hell. And you can see the hidden symbols on the film. That kind of stuff could have been creepy. You might have been able to pull a good movie out of that if you did it as a found footage mockumentary, kind of like a Blair Witch crossed with cigarette burns.
Yeah, or I'm going to say Poughkeepsie Tapes, which is my favorite found footage movie, because it's found footage from the killer and
the police detectives talking about the footage they found from the killer.
Yes, and it's great because it's the way that they set it up. It looks like what you guys are, what everyone in the fucking country, like 80% of people are obsessed with right now, which is like true crime shows. It has that kind of like old style true crime feel to it. But in the terrible, because there was a time where those things were not really that good. Like they were fucked up, but just the way it looked and just the way it looked really cheesy is what I'm trying to say. It's very cheesy, but yeah, it was not the Poughkeepsie Tapes, which I feel like we should do because that's a great movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, they could have had a good movie in this, but they were all over the place with what they wanted to do. There's no real you don't come out of it going, oh, I see what they were trying to say. You're like, no, I don't know what their message was in this. Fucked up movies are weird. Yeah, okay, I got you. Like I said, this is like watching someone try to do a parody of a art house, black and white color 70s film,
And like the 5 layers of hell are boring. Like I would have appreciated if each layer there was something, because if you're going to go out of your way to like have this written in a book and then show the book when the next layer is going to begin and, and have some creepy thing happen, music or whatever, the demon touching the book and like they had in one scene. If you're going to go through all of that trouble, at least make that scene with that interesting. It wasn't interesting at all. At least do, something more than just having people wearing morph suits, walking around, hiding themselves in the trees. It was the same layer had the same stuff.
Yeah, like this was like, I guess if you did this as like a scare thing, like you took people out in the park and said, this is the levels of hell, this is a pit where they were digging levels to hell, and you had the people in morph suits with horns running around in the bushes jumping out at you, that'd probably be pretty scary.
Yeah,
but just watching it on the screen is like...
That's why they threw those Russian rednecks. But I'm like, who's not going to be afraid of 2 grody-ass men? One guy's wearing just, like, tighty-whities. That's it. That's like in cowboy boots and a weird, like, reindeer, like, horns or whatever.
Yeah, he's got the fucking horns from How the Grinch Stole Christmas. He's wearing that fucking thing on his head.
And then he's wearing, like, steampunky or, like, weird fucking, like, glasses. Like, with their... sunglasses. I don't know. And then the other guy is just in a wife beater and like he's dirty from all of his deer killing,
nocturnal activities. Who's not gonna
fucking be scared of 2 men randomly living in a fucking junkyard with a whole bunch of junk and weird cars and fucking skull and bones on the fucking floor? Every fucking body, okay? Thrill me another way. Show me some weird creepy stuff. I have to say the scene where they do show the like claymation fucking squirrel.
Oh,
that shit
yes, I forgot.
Was fucking terrible, right? But at the same time, at least it was a little weird. Just make me feel uncomfortable. But and do it in a way where you're either doing camera tricks or using light as an effect, something more than what, or even just some of the images that they showed, you know, stay on them for just maybe half a second more so you can actually see it, because the images are just even boring themselves. Like, I want to know, who are these people in the back? Like, Adam and Eve is like in a fucking park shower, like getting boundaged up. Like, what the fuck was that about? I don't know. Just there was so much, but yet there was nothing. Just like I said earlier.
Well, the thing is, we mentioned the squirrel. They're digging in their pit to hell, and the boy says, "What is that?" And they cut to like the world's worst, like stop motion. It looks like someone went down to the drugstore and bought one of those cheap squirrel toys that you can get for your dog. And then they were just making it move around with stop motion. And she was like, oh, well, that's a demon. Sometimes they look like that to try and distract you. Okay, if she made all this up, then what the hell is this fake squirrel out here doing? And why isn't she concerned about it if it's real?
I thought it was just a fucking squirrel eating a nut. Like, from
and that was just their bad effect of it?
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know. This movie... I heard lots of people talking about it and thought, all right, we'll give it a try.
Watch this movie. I want everyone to watch this movie so we all can be part of this club, and we're not the only ones that wasted an hour and a half of her life. We want you to join in this cult now, the Antrum club.
The Antrum assholes, the ones that got tricked into watching this movie.
Antrum assholes, yes. Get on the Antrum assholes board and let's do this together, please. Tell us what you thought about it. What did you love it? Did you think this is the best fucking movie ever? And if you're gonna tell me that, don't be like, yeah, it's the best movie ever. I need an essay, okay? I need a breakdown shot for shot. I want this shit to be like, I'm a fucking professor and I'm gonna like literally read this and I'm gonna grade you on it. That's the kind of shit that I want.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the guy like in the fucking meme sitting at the table that says, Antrum's a turd, change my mind. That's what I want. I want you to come and change my mind. Tell me why it's good, because I can't think of any reason that it's good.
No, I don't.
This is gonna get the very rare negative knives from me, where like I actually don't give it. I give it nothing, and I feel like it took away from me, so it's going to get a -1 knife. This movie took a knife from my house and threw it out in the street.
Damn, that is some... I do have to say, the producer, screenplay, it's an indie film, so he's going to do everything. He might have been one of the demons, for all we know. David Amato. David Amato, I want to congratulate you, sir, for making the most boring movie ever made. Not the deadliest, the most boring. No, seriously, cut everything I just said. I do want to say thank you for going out there and at least fucking making something that's not typically something I've already seen per se. That's why you get the one knife. Because of the effort, okay? The effort that was made. Because you could have just fucking jumped on, like, the Black Christmas remake. It could have been some other fucking movie that's come out recently. Not Invisible Man, because that movie was fucking fantastic. Yeah, so I thank you. Thank you for the effort. I give it one knife. And, you know, shit. What are you going to do? I'm never going to see it again, so...
I mean, they tried, I guess.
They tried. You're still getting a negative knife from Shad.
No, I'll go with you.
No. Stick with the fucking negative knife. You gotta stick with it. You gotta stick with the negative.
Stick with the negative knife.
My one knife is 0.5 from Shad, and the other half from me. I'm really terrible at math. 50% from Shad and 50% from me. That's gonna make the 100, which is the one knife. Boom.
All right,
guys. Thank you so much for joining on our Antrum rant.
Adventure.
Antrum assholes unite. Stay tuned to the horror.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.